now 6 o'clock on March 5th, 2014, and I would like to call the Plain Township Board of Zoning Appeals meeting to order. First of all, I would like to introduce the members of the Zoning Board of Appeals. To my far right is Mr. Rick Beck. Next to him is Demetrius Puslides. On my immediate right is Timothy Reichel. Being seated is Mr. Robert Souls, the Vice Chairman. To his left is James McVeigh. Next to him is Dennis Folk, the Planning, Zoning, and Development Director for Plain Township. And finally, certainly not least, is Stephanie Metzger, the Zoning Assistant. And I am Jeff Sutton, Chairman of the Board of Zoning Appeals. Are there any changes to the agenda as presented?
Move to approve.
Second?
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman.
Vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm going to bypass the reading of the duties in light of the full agenda this evening. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting of January 8th, please?
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Puslides?
Yes.
Reichel?
Yes.
McVeigh?
Yes.
Souls?
Yes.
Sutton?
Yes. Is there any unfinished business to come before the board? Hearing none, I'm going to move on to new business. We have 3 appeals this evening, and I'm going to read the 3 appeals. First is appeal number 1227-14. Applicant and owner, Paul and Donna Kuntz, Revocable Trust, 1507 Cherry Lane, Uniontown, Ohio, 44685. Request permission to change a non-conforming use on the property located at 2531 Clarendon Avenue Northwest, parcel number 52-17653. Existing non-conforming use permit was issued for front building, 6,440 square foot, in 1996 and updated in 1998. The applicant is requesting a non-conforming use permit for the back building, 6,000 square feet, which was constructed in 1960. The non-conforming use permit requested is for storage rental space. Article 10, Section 1001.1, non-conforming use. The property is zoned R1, single-family residential district, and is located in the northwest quarter of Section 32. Second, we have appeal number 1228-14. Applicant and owners of Diamond Park Condominiums, Ronald and Pamela Hale Trust, 2412 Captain Street Northeast, Canton, Ohio, 44721. Parcel number 52-19645. Walter and Sandra Schlipitz II, 2501 Captain Street Northeast, Canton, Ohio, 44721. Parcel number 52-19637, Stephen Allensworth, 2517 Captain Street Northeast, Canton, Ohio, 44721. Parcel number 52-19638. Sona Sheely, 2539 Captain Street Northeast, Canton, Ohio, 44721. Parcel number 52-19639. Margaret Bennick, deceased, 2506 Jasper Street Northeast, Canton, Ohio, 44721, parcel number 52-99048. Request the following to vacate Diamond Park Condominium. 2412 Captain Street Northeast, parcel number 52-19645, 1,902 square feet, lot size variance, 9,000 square feet required, 7,098 square feet requested. 2501 Captain Street Northeast, parcel number 52-19637, 108 square foot lot size variance, 9,000 square foot required, 8892 square feet requested, 10-inch north side yard variance, 6 feet required, 5 feet 2 inches requested. 2517 Captain Street Northeast, parcel number 52-19638, 107 square foot lot size variance, 9,000 square foot required, 8,893 square feet requested. 2539 Captain Street Northeast, parcel number 52-19639, 108 square foot lot size variance, 9,000 square feet required, 8892 square feet requested. 2506 Jasper Street Northeast, parcel number 52-99048, 1,228 square foot lot size variance, 9,000 square feet required, 7,772 square feet requested. Article 7, Section 704.3, minimum lot and yard requirements. The property is zoned R2, 1 and 2 family district, and is located in the northeast quarter of Section 2. Appeal number 3, number 1229-14. Applicant Robert Wilson, 151 Wilbur Drive Northeast, North Canton, Ohio 44720, and owner Realty Associates of Canton, Inc., Martin Mestel, President, 5396 Columbus Road Northeast, Louisville, Ohio 44641. Request the following to construct a 16-foot by 57-foot, 950 square foot commercial addition on the property located at Grouse's Pizza, 909 30th Street Northeast, parcel number 52-01851. 6-foot east side yard setback variance, 25 feet required, 19 feet requested. Article 7, Section 712-3 and 712-4 lot requirements and yard requirements. The property is zoned B1 Neighborhood Business District and is located in the southeast quarter of Section 27. I would also like to read into the record a memo from Troy Slaybaugh, the captain of the Division of Inspections and Investigations for the Plain Township Fire Department. Review of appeals. Appeal number 1227-14. Paul Kuntz, applicant, 1507 Cherry Lane, Uniontown, Ohio 44685, and Paul and Donna E. Kuntz, revocable trust owners, 1507 Cherry Lane, Uniontown, Ohio 44685. The request for the property at 2531 Clarendon Avenue Northwest, Canton, Ohio 44708 has been reviewed, and there are no recommendations or suggestions regarding the appeal. With regard to the second appeal, number 1228-14, rather than reread all of the individuals, I will just read his summary. The request for a variance has been reviewed, and there are no recommendations or suggestions regarding the appeal. Appeal number 1229-14. The request for variance has been reviewed, and there are no recommendations or suggestions regarding the appeal. For all individuals that are planning to speak this evening, if you have not yet done so, there is a paper on the table by the door. If you could please sign in, we'd appreciate it.
Excuse me, Chairman Sutton, we moved the sign-in sheet to the podium.
So whenever they come up to speak.
Okay, just made a
Thank you. You can sign in when you come up to speak then. For those of you who are planning to speak, if you could please rise, I will administer the oath to everyone at once. You could raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the information you are about to present is true and accurate to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do. Yes.
Thank you. Okay, the way this operates is all those in favor of the appeal shall speak first, and then if there are any individuals who wish to speak against the appeal, they will follow. So for the first appeal, Number 1227-14. Someone come up and speak in favor, please. And when you come to the podium, if you would state your name and address for the record.
I saw the sign in first before.
Please do.
Hold on, My name is Steve Hobson. I'm actually here as an attorney on behalf of Mr. and Mrs. Coons, the family trust, I should say, the applicant in this case. There are really two issues involving this particular property.
Steve, what's your address?
Sorry, 388 South Main Street,
Thank you.
Suite 402, Akron, Ohio.
Thank you.
The request is really relates to two different aspects of the property. The property has two separate buildings on it. There is a building in the front of the property, sort of two-floor, two-level building. There's already been, I think, previously a non-conforming use granted on both the bottom floor and the top floor. Nothing has changed on the bottom floor, if I'm saying it correctly. In the top floor, the prior, back in, I think it was 97 or so, there was previously approval for there to be light manufacturing on the top floor of the building. That is now just being used as office space. So it's actually, I would suggest, a use more in character with the neighborhood now. I think there's an individual up there who works at a computer and writes curriculum for churches. So there's not much intrusive sort of activity going on there. But because it is a different type of use than the wood manufacturing that was there previously, that was included in this application. There's also an issue with a building, or a structure, I should say, in the rear of the property. It's a building that has 8 bays in it that was constructed. And Paul says he remembers working on it back when he was still in high school in 1958, 59, and some suggesting it may have been completed in 1960. It was a building constructed by the owners at the time, Paul's father, I believe, at the time. And that's really what we're seeking, a recognition that that is a non-conforming use structure on the property. Apparently that had never been done and had never came up as an issue until recently. But what that has been used for, these 8 bays, I think originally when it was opened in 1960 until about 1980, there were actually coal trucks that were parked there, stored there. Drivers would park them there overnight, bring the vehicles to the property. They would then, employment is they would take these coal trucks, they would go pick up coal, I think, south of Canton, deliver it to various factories in the area. And that went on for about 20 straight years, at least 20 years. That stopped at some point in the early 80s, and then the building has continued to just be used for similar uses. There's been semi-tractor trailers that have been stored in there. There have been landscaping companies that have stored vehicles in there. There have been farm equipment has been stored in there. I think just various items have been stored. There have been different companies that have placed things there and have come and gone out of that property. So I guess I would submit that what we really need is a recognition of the non-conforming use that existed before the zoning code was put into place, is my understanding. In looking at the zoning code, as I read it, it indicates that any non-conforming building, structure, or land use existing at the effective date of the resolution may be continued, although such space does not conform with the provisions. The code then goes on to say that if there's any change or alteration or expansion, then it requires approval of Board of Zoning Appeals. So I'm not exactly sure how that plays into the fact that this really seems to just be a non-conforming use that's been there prior to the zoning code in place, and whether or not there's no expansion or alteration being requested here in that regard. My understanding of what led to this was there was a prior tenant, a recently prior tenant, that had a landscaping company in there. We've had various landscaping companies over the years, smaller operations, but this particular tenant's operations have been very successful and grew to be quite sizable. And what happened was recently he constructed sort of a dome-like structure on the property, sort of a temporary dome-like structure, and I've got some pictures that we can look at to store salt. He was coming in there, I guess, early hours in the nighttime, early hours in the morning, and some of the residents in the neighborhood were complaining. That's what got this kicked off, and looked at this and said, well, wait a second, how did he construct this structure on the property? He has since removed if you look at the pictures, it's sort of these big block walls, and then they had this big tarp that made this big dome, if you will, over the salt. Just, I think, yesterday, he finally removed the dome. He actually is leaving this space. He's moving to a space in Massillon. His lease became effective on March 1st. I was over there Friday looking at the property just to see what was going on at the end of the month, and he apparently couldn't get out of the existing space here until his new lease took effect on March 1st, but he has since moved a bunch of his equipment over, and he has taken the dome down off of the structure. I've got a couple of photos I'll just hand to the group. You can look. You may already have some of these yourself, but the other thing I guess I would comment upon is the building immediately to the north of the property. If you look at the GIS, is a commercial building that abuts against the property. It's I think there's some sort of spa there. There's a Kiko auction there, and it appears that the R1 designation comes right across the line here. And my client's property abuts against it, even though this was here prior to the zoning going into effect. And then the property immediately to the south is actually property owned by Plain Township here. It's a fire station. So we're sort of sandwiched between a commercial building and a fire station, and have been sandwiched there since, the building's been there since at least 1960, if not earlier. Here's a picture I think my client just took today, showing that the dome that previously looked like this big white dome-like structure has in fact been removed. These pictures here that mention heating and cooling, this is the existing use that there is a permit for, I believe, on the first floor. This is the building in front, and on the second floor there's currently a permit for light wood manufacturing that's now being used as office space as well. And then it's the white building to the rear. You can just see, I've taken photos from either side of the building, but you can just see some of the storage bays behind there, and then maybe this one's a good one that you can see. This is the fire station, and I'm coming from the angle. Over here is where that dome was that the landscaper had, and the white structure in the back where these bays exist. I'll just hand these, start on this end maybe, and pass them around. Other than that, we're, as I said, I won't belabor the point, but we're really just looking for the recognition that this has been an existing non-conforming use of the building in the rear, and a change that's necessary to change the use of the second floor of the building in the front of the property from light wood manufacturing to office space. If the board has any questions, I'd be happy to field those questions. Thank you.
Is there anyone else to speak in favor of the appeal? Is there anyone to speak against the appeal? Please come up, sign in, state your name and address.
Joseph Roy, 2526 Cleveland Avenue. I want to know.
Please sign in.
How many businesses
You've
are
got
around?
to sign in.
Okay. How many businesses are allowed in a non-conforming use property? Now, you got 7 businesses working there. That's an industrial park. It's nothing but trap, it's a trap. How do people let this thing go on? You don't even know the garages are there. So what are you gonna do about it? If I built a place and you didn't know was there, you'd come to tell me to tear it down. That's all I have to say.
My name's Tracy Rohr. I live at 2514 Clarendon, directly across from this operation and the dome structure. I'm the one who kind of got this started. I had put up with it for over a year, and over the summer, it was a mulch structure, and he'd be out there on the weekends, 6 o'clock in the morning, running bobcats. And I started complaining then, when it first came to surface, that he wasn't even licensed to be there. No one even knew he existed. Well, then he constructed this dome structure and started keeping the salt in it for the winter, and it just got even worse. And he was operating all hours of the night with the noise, lights on the trucks, backup noises, bobcat noises all night long. So I had started complaining and talking to Denny about this. And from there, he was sent a letter way back in November, the stuff that I started in the summertime, given 30 days to get, or 45 days to get a permit, never got the permit. I gave him a 3-month extension, no permit was ever applied for then. Well, then I was told the only thing I could do about the noise, it was a home rule violation, was to complain to the sheriff's department. I complained to them. I could have complained 4 or 5 nights a week. I complained twice, official complaints, that they came and gave Mr. Petracca a warning. And since they're saying he's moving out, but he's still in operation over there, the structure is still up. He did remove the dome just yesterday. And other than that, he's still up operating. If you allow this, he's going to continue to operate there. And I was also told by the heating and cooling business, there's a second landscaper company operating out of there also. I don't have a name for them, but Mr. Petracca is not the only one. And I agree with what my neighbor said. All this was allowed to be built, that structure, that's an eyesore there, plus the noise and the trucks and everything going on, that I don't think this should be approved at this time with him still operating out of there and that structure still set up. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak against the appeal? Are there any questions from members of the board?
Mrs. Parr.
There, I'm Ruth Parr. I live on 25th Street. And it's
your
very
address?
annoying to see these trucks go with their big lights on through the night.
Excuse me, could you give us your complete address, please?
Pardon?
Your complete address?
Oh, all right. To see these big trucks flashing their lights all night long, and that shines in your windows when you're trying to sleep. And then I realize they're doing a wonderful job, but they're not following the instructions. I mean, you know, they're not not where they're supposed to be. It's against restrictions. In the beginning, that is the Vale allotment, Ed Myers allotment. Goes from Clarendon Avenue, clear over, it used to, clear over to Whipple. It was not supposed to be any business in there at all. And this started, we tried to stop it when Mr. Santro, which is now the Avondale Fire Station, was there. And he was wise enough, he's fast enough to put his building up, and so consequently, we were at the same time building it up there all the time. So now then, Coots put the building up behind, and now we have two businesses there, where it's supposed to be residential. So this is my complaint, they've broken the restrictions. I don't appreciate the lights, even though they're doing a wonderful job. It keeps me awake at night when these flashing lights go in my bedroom. And I just would rather it not be there. Thank you.
What was your address?
What's your address, please?
I put my address.
You need to speak it.
Pardon?
You need to speak it, please.
At 2618 25th Street Northwest, Canton, Ohio.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more? Are there any questions from the board?
Yes, sir, I have a couple questions I'd like to ask the attorney. Is the business really gone or isn't it? These folks are saying it still, there's two landscapers operating out of there at this point, but I think your testimony stated that they were out of there as of March 1st. Now, are they or aren't they?
What I indicated was that they could not get to the new property until March 1st. I went over Friday to see what the status was with my own eyes, because obviously I don't represent the tenant, I don't control the tenant. And what I saw was I still saw trucks there. Now, granted, that was February 28th on that day. So I called Paul, talked to him, actually I think it was there Thursday. Called Paul and talked to him. He had talked to the tenant explained that he couldn't physically take his stuff to the new property, which he does have running. We have verified the property in Massillon. He is in fact moving, most of the equipment is being moved out, or has been moved out. But to answer your question directly, he has not removed everything off of that property at the moment. I can't sit here and tell you that he has. But I understand why he hasn't. I mean, he couldn't get into his new space until Monday, and it's just physically impossible to pick everything up at midnight on, February 28th and have it over there. What you saw, the picture is he has removed, and again, what I'm hearing the most concern about was this dome structure that he had constructed, and I'm not here to defend that at all. We've ordered him to take that down and remove it from the property. So, to answer your question though, is moving out? I guess that's the best way to answer it. Paul, do you have any?
Yes,
Saturday and light on that?
Saturday and Sunday, he moved out, and he is operating out of Massillon.
Okay, so what you see is there was a little bit of salt he had under that tarp. I've asked when he's getting those block moved out of there, and my understanding is he is moving the block off the premises at some point here in the near future to take those down to his structure down in Massillon. But we made him move, get that white dome thing out of there. Again, I'm not here defending that structure, so.
Does your client have a definite date when he will be completely out of there?
Well, again, his lease was up. I mean, his lease was up on February 28th. I mean, we certainly don't have any interest in having a non-paying tenant stay there on the property. My understanding is he's got all of his equipment out.
He is operating out of Massillon. The only reason he'll be back is to get some more stuff. The complaint is noise. The noise is gone. He's not operating out of there.
We need
Mr. Cook's to sign.
Paul, why don't you state your name? He did sign it, state your
Okay.
name for the record.
I'm Paul Kuntz, the owner of the 2531 Clarendon,
State your address.
in 1507 Cherry Lane, Uniontown. Yes, Mr. Petrarca is, March 1st is the day we moved in down there, and he worked Saturday, and he worked Sunday, because I was down there Saturday and Sunday, and effective today now, he's operating out of his Massillon office. And he will not come back other than to, get all that stuff. And he's probably got 90% of it now.
What is left?
Oh, maybe a couple plows or a couple things sitting around outside. And then the main thing will be to finish the salt thing off. And that's the
So you
cement.
can
piece.
see those blocks that he still has
Yeah, you
sitting
can see in
there.
the picture, those blocks will have to go. He needs to go to his new location and pour a cement block. And if those blocks are an issue, we'll just make him do it this week. That helps, but left to him, he will probably want to pour his cement at the new location, then come back and get those blocks and move them. But they're only so high, and he's not working there so that there's no noise, so.
And is there a second landscaper, as I was told, and there's other trucks back there, there's
Yeah.
another company or individual
There's
working out
more than
there?
that.
Hold it. Anybody who speaks,
Oh, I'm
speaks at the
sorry.
podium,
I'm sorry.
and they need to be,
My question was, I've been told and I'm
Just
seeing
states.
there's another landscaper still operating out of there. So,
Yeah, if I could address that, there have been, over the years, there have been a number of landscapers who have stored equipment in the back buildings. And we have a tenant, another tenant who is a small, much smaller, one-man type of operation or small
Can I say
operation.
something here?
Hang on a second, sir.
Wait a
I'd like to
minute,
finish.
wait a minute, sir.
I'd like to finish, sir.
Sir, will you wait a minute until you're
Everybody else
recognized?
in that business.
I'd like to finish
Go
with my
ahead.
answer, and you can have your opportunity to talk to the board.
It happened.
What has happened and what this fellow is doing, what my understanding is, what has traditionally happened is, for example, landscapers who've been there in the past may have a trailer with their equipment stored inside the building. They show up in the morning, hook up to the trailer, leave, and take their equipment out and go do what they need to do, and come back and park their trailer there. My understanding is this is the first, Mr. Protarchus, the tenant who's created this, is the first one who basically started, if you want to say, operating on site by placing a mulch pile there and then ultimately putting salt there and starting to build a structure and starting to store materials there on site. That, to my knowledge, has not happened with any of the other landscapers that have ever been there. There are other things stored there as well. I think, what is there, a boat or recreational vehicles or something?
RVs and buses and antique cars.
Again, if we go back to what this property has typically been, or traditionally been used for, even before the zoning code was put in place, was that it was coal trucks and semi-trucks were used there. Fulton Road runs very close. I mean, this is probably, certainly less than 100 yards from Fulton Road, and so it's how the use existed prior to the code, and these sorts of things I would suggest are not outside of the character. What I do think is outside of the character is what had occurred when this other landscaping company began storing materials outside on site and building structures. So, any other questions that you may have?
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Yes, all right. Now, he says they use it for storage, it's not. There's a roofer out there that's running business out of one garage. The landscaper's running business. You got a guy repairing cars out of one garage. He can say they're storing it, but they don't store it out there. They're running businesses out of the garage. Now, Andy that left there, he came and he left. He was, nobody said, I didn't have nothing against him, but I don't want somebody saying they're using it for storage, because they're not using it for storage. They got businesses.
that's my question too. If the other landscapers left there, this other guy was allowed to do what he wanted and construct this enormous operating machinery out of there. This other landscaper can do it, and just like he said, there's other businesses there making noise, doing things. It's being used for a lot of things other than storage.
I'd like to make a motion. Whereas applicant and owner Paul and Donna Coons, revocable trust 1507 Cherry Lane, Uniontown, Ohio 44685, request permission to change a non-conforming use on the property located at 2531 Clarendon Avenue Northwest, parcel number 52-17653. Existing non-conforming use permit was issued for front building 6,440 square feet in 1996 and updated in 1998. The applicant requests the following: a non-conforming use permit for the back building, 6,000 square feet, which was constructed in 1960. The non-conforming use permit requested is for storage rental space, whereas the applicant or a representative has appeared in person before this board at an adjudication hearing on said application, and the Plain Township Board of Zoning Appeals has duly considered this application pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 519.14. Now therefore be it hereby resolved by the Plain Township Board of Zoning Appeals to grant the following: a non-conforming use permit to the back building, 6,000 square feet, which was constructed in 1960. The non-conforming use permit requested is for storage rental space.
I will second that.
Thank you. Vote? Discussion?
This building was built for storage in 1960. That's prior to, I believe, the Plain Township zoning regulations. And if in fact it is still being used for storage, I don't know if we have a choice in turning this down. If we approve the application and it is proven to us or to the zoning folks that it is being used something other than storage, then I think the lady has a point. She brought that to the zoning inspector's attention, that the front part was used for something other than zoning, other than what it was intended for, and the problem has been resolved. And I think the question that I look before me is, do we make the back building, which was built and used for storage over the years, do we actually make it in compliance with our zoning regulations? That's, to me, that's the only question we have. If it's being used for something else, then that is an additional problem that should be brought before the zoning inspector and get that taken care of like he has taken care of the one in the front building.
Any more comments? Vote?
Pusleitis?
No.
Reichel?
No.
McVeigh?
Yes.
Souls?
Yes.
Sutton?
Yes. The motion has been carried. Approval has been granted for non-conforming use for storage only. Second appeal. Who is here to speak in favor of the Diamond Park condominium?
My name is David Robinson. I live at 11339 Sagebrush Avenue, Uniontown, Ohio. I happen to be the surveyor doing the survey for
Why don't we wait a minute until these folks get it for us? No, you're fine, ma'am. It's just, we record these proceedings and it'd be easier if we have it.
Can you answer just one question? We didn't bring our lawyer with us. Is he allowed, with your vote the way you did it, is he allowed to put anything in there he wants? Is that a yes or no?
storage rental space. That's what the approval was for.
For storage?
So storage rental space is what the application was.
Thank you very
So
much.
that's what it said.
Thank you.
That's what it says. So,
We can investigate other
yeah, there's other
potential
uses.
uses.
Yeah, there's other uses for this.
Again, what's your name, sir?
David Bromson.
Okay, thank you.
You can sign in.
I did.
Thank you.
The 5 owners of the Diamond Park Villas condominium wish to vacate the condominium. To do that, they have to create individual parcels, and those parcels don't meet current zoning regulations. They have to be slightly smaller. They want to create their own individual parcel. Right now, they own the home, but the land underneath these homes is owned jointly by the condominium association. Banks won't loan money on this type of situation. One of the owners is deceased, the daughter wishes to sell the house, banks just won't loan on it, they just can't sell it. 3 of the parcels are just slightly over 100 square foot under the required square footage. 2 of them are set aside and they're surrounded by platted land. Those are fixed, there's nothing we can do about that. It is what it is, they're there. When this was set up for condominiums, it was supposed to be high density. There was going to be 33 homes where there would have been 27, if that makes sense. There was 27 platted lots originally. As a condominium, they were able to get 33 homes in there, so it was more high density. The developer, Alpine Design, went bankrupt at the time when the economy went bad. So there was only 5 condominiums built. The rest of the land was sold, turned over to a bank and sold later and platted by another corporation. So to create these 5 individual parcels, we only have so much land we can work with, and that's why they're requesting the variances.
My name is Pam Hale. I live at 2412 Captain Street, Northeast, Canton, Ohio. I'm one of the homeowners. As Dave had said, is that when Margaret died, we decided as a group, because we would meet together once a year, that it would be better if we dissolved the condominium association, because we were having problems with selling her house. And then there's another person in that small group, Walt and Sandy, who are thinking about selling their house. So they would be up against the same problems that Margaret's daughter is having right now. We all currently take care of our houses outside, inside, but what we want to do is just dissolve it and become regular homeowners, just to make it a little bit easier for everybody concerned.
Is there anyone else to speak in favor of the appeal? Is there anyone to speak in opposition to the appeal? Any questions from members of the board?
Why is it you cannot continue to operate as a condominium?
What we could, okay, it's just that with Margaret passing away and trying to sell her house has made it very, very difficult. And the way that the HOA rules are written, according to the very first draft, we revised them saying that we take care of the outside as well as the inside. It was documented by a lawyer, saying that this is what we do. But one of the things that he had told us is it might be to our advantage, since there's only 5 of us, for us to dissolve the HOA. And one of the reasons why is basically we're just trying to she's having issues trying to sell the house. And it worked beautifully with all 5 of us there. We all knew each other very well. We took care of each other, did a lot of things for each other. But you just never know who that new owner, what they might bring.
What are the issues with respect to selling the unit?
From what I understand, some of the stuff was just trying to get a loan, because when they view things, and I don't know all the particulars, I'm not with a bank or anything else, but evidently it's a little bit more difficult when you have an HOA than just a regular house. It's been told to me by 2 lawyers, and basically just some of the red tape that you have to go through. So we thought that it might be easier if we just dissolved the condominium association as it stands right now. especially since there's only 5 of us. Any other questions?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion.
Yes, sir.
Whereas applicants and owners of Diamond Park condominiums, Ronald and Pamela Hale Trust, 2412 Captain Street, Northeast Canton, Ohio, 44721, parcel number 52-19645, Walter and Sandra Schlappitz, the second, 2501 Captain Street, Northeast Canton, Ohio, 44721, parcel number 52-19637, Stephen Allensworth, 2517 Captain Street, Northeast Canton, Ohio, 44721, parcel number 52-19638, Sona Shealy, 2539 Captain Street, Northeast Canton, Ohio, 44721, parcel number 52-19639, Margaret Bennett, deceased, 2506 Jasper Street, Northeast Canton, Ohio, 44721, parcel number 52-99048, request the following to vacate Diamond Park condominium, 24112 Captain Street, Northeast, parcel number 52-19645, 1,902 square feet, lot size variance, 9,000 square feet required, 7,098 square feet requested, 2501 Captain Street, Northeast, parcel number 52-19637, 108 square feet, lot size variance, 9,000 square feet required, 8,892 square feet requested, 10-inch north side 50-yard variance, 6 foot required, 5 foot 2 inch requested, 2517 Captain Street, Northeast, parcel number 52-19638, 107 square feet, lot size variance, 9,000 square feet required, 8,893 square feet requested. 9 Captain Street, Northeast, parcel number 52-19639, 100 square feet, 108 square feet, lot size variance, 9,000 square feet required, 8,892 square feet requested. 2506 Jasper Street, Northeast, parcel number 52-99048, 1,228 square feet, lot size variance, 9,000 square feet required, 7,772 square feet requested. Whereas the applicant or representatives have appeared in person before this board at an adjudication hearing on said application, and the Township Board of Zoning Appeals has duly considered this application pursuant to Mayor Revised Code 519.14, and now therefore be it hereby resolved by the Township Board of Zoning Appeals to grant the following: 2412 Captain Street, Northeast, parcel number 52-19645, 1,902 square feet, lot size variance, 9,000 square feet required, 7,098 square feet requested. 2501 Captain Street, Northeast, parcel number 52-19637, 108 square feet, lot size variance, 9,000 square feet required, 8,892 square feet requested. 10-inch north side yard variance, 6 foot required, 5 foot 2 inch requested. 2517 Captain Street, Northeast, parcel number 52-19638, 107 square feet, lot size variance, 9,000 square feet required, 8,893 square feet requested. 2539 Captain Street, Northeast, parcel number 52-19639, 108 square feet, lot size variance, 9,000 square feet required, 8,892 square feet requested. And 2506 Jasper Street, Northeast, parcel number 52-99048, 1,228 square feet, lot size variance, 9,000 square feet required, 7,772 square feet requested.
Well done, Council. I will second that motion.
Any discussion on the motion?
If I understand this correctly, the hardship here, it leads to a financial hardship, correct? If we're looking at trying to sell these residences slash homes slash condos, you're running into problems with banks. It's a severe hardship to try and get out from underneath one of these.
Well, and especially since Margaret is now deceased, yes. Okay.
If and when the time comes, you're having hardships.
Right, and that's exactly what's happening right now. Because one of the lending companies, when a couple had come in to look at it, they had said, working with an HOA is something that we don't want to do, so that's the reason why. I mean, when we bought these 5 villas, 21st Homes had purchased all of the property around it. But then, of course, when 2006 hit, they went bankrupt. The 5 villas stood.
Correct.
And we did our own thing with our HOA. But then after that, it was like years and years before, you know, Ryan decided to actually get together with the bank and purchase the property.
I understand.
Originally, there was going to be 33 homes. In the condominium, the homeowners share the expenses. The expenses divided by 33 is a lot less than divided by 5.
I understand. Thank you. Nothing further, Mr. Chairman.
Anything else? Vote?
Busalides?
Yes.
Reichel?
Yes.
McVeigh?
Yes?
Solz?
No.
Sutton?
Yes. Motion carries. Okay, we have the third appeal for the outside patio at Krause's Pizza. Anyone to speak in favor, please?
My name is Robert Wilson.
At the microphone, please.
My name is Robert Wilson,
And your address?
151 Wilbur Drive, Northeast, Northampton, Ohio. My client wishes to construct a seasonal venue building, a building that can be used during the summertime. The building would have sides that could open up to the outdoors as opposed to limited to the pizza space right now. Our space is located on 30th Street at Martindale Road, the last tenant at Martindale on the east end. Basically, there's a concrete slab out there right now, and we wish to construct a structure on that slab that would allow connection with the Pizza House now, and also would have exterior wall openings that would allow us to open up to the summer, spring, summer, and autumn weather. And it's a venue that's very popular now, and diners really like that outdoors opportunity if the facility has that. That's what we'd like to accomplish.
There you go.
And that's it. It's a little less than 1,000 square feet. It's not a large structure. We will, right now there is a portable barn type structure there that we use for pickup as a pickup window. We're going to remove that and incorporate that into the new structure. Obviously, lots of people like to drive up and order their pizza in advance and drive up and pick up their automobile. So we will continue that, but we'll eliminate the structure that's there now and incorporate that into the new addition to the pizza shop.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else to speak in favor of the appeal?
I'm not in favor, no. I'm in favor of the appeal for him to build, yeah. My name's Steve Atzarides. I live at 3105 Martindale, directly next to Krause's Pizza. We got enough going on in that neighborhood. Within 50 yards, we've got Krause's, we've got Nathan's, we've got the College Bowl, and we've got the Rock Hall, new bar that opened up.
Are you speaking in favor or against?
No, I'm against it.
Okay, he asked for a favor. but go
Oh, I'm
ahead.
sorry about that. Yeah, I'm completely against it. Would you like me to continue, or?
No, I don't know if there's anyone else to speak in
Here's the
favor.
deal. Nathan's has a patio. I can't keep my windows open in the summertime because of the music. There's absolutely no lights behind that building. There's people constantly dumping trash, blowing in my yard, I'm picking it up. You can drive by my yard now, there's beer bottles, beer cans. My property is 1.7 acres. It runs parallel with that building. The dog grooming place, people want to walk their dogs in my yard to use the bathroom.
You know, it's just nothing but a headache as it is. We have a 24-hour gambling place right across the street. We've got Rite Aid and the gas station selling alcohol. We don't need any more in the neighborhood, okay? Enough's enough. Last summer, there's cars pulling up behind the building, conducting sexual activity, people walking in my yard urinating. I've had it. That's it. That's all I want to say.
Steve, what was your last name?
Patsarides.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak in opposition? Any questions or comments from the board?
Sir, you said it's going to be enclosed?
Yes, it is
Patio?
enclosed.
And when you say enclosed, open-sided patio, what does that mean? What's the?
That means by design, about from 4 feet above the ground on up to the roof line opens up to the outdoors.
So will it be enclosed, or will there be an open space?
There'll be one, by code, we have to have one exit door, but it's
It's gonna
just.
have a roof on it.
It's in a driveway. There's a roof on it. It is in a driveway, so that, it is at the pickup driveway. So it's only there for code purposes.
And the doors to get in and out?
They are through the pizza shop.
I've got a question.
Yes.
You can go ahead and stay up there. I just passed it on the way up here again today. I've seen it many times before. Right now, there's currently a fence around this area.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
With no
roof on it.
No roof on it. The structure that you're proposing is one that can be used in the winter months as well, or is this strictly for the warmer weather months?
It's primarily for the warmer month. In the winter months, it's for the hardy. Sometimes we do put infrared heaters in there, but if someone would want to venture out into it's like an unheated porch.
But there's no roof on it right now.
No roof on it right now, and we would tear down what's there and construct walls.
I'm still trying to picture this in my mind. What I picture as one thing in my mind is like some of the local pubs, BW3s, I think, where they use garage doors.
And we'll have some.
So in the winter, they could use that room.
Yes.
As a part of the business, and then when the warmer weather comes, they open the garage doors up, and it exposes you to the outside.
That's correct.
Okay.
Generally speaking, obviously in the summer months there are more attendants there than there would be in the winter, but I'm sure they can. Sure,
but you intend to use it in the winter as well, is what I'm saying.
If they, yes.
If that's.
You're right.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to ask the question again. Is this going to be enclosed, or is there going to be any open aspect of this facility?
It's
enclosed to me is, let me tell you what I think enclosed is. We're in an enclosed room. There's nothing open. I see a window, but it's not open. Will this meet my definition of enclosed?
No. Well, it's enclosed as this wall is, perhaps. We do have openings that can be opened. Again, they're limited. You can't walk through the opening, but you can certainly appreciate what's going on outdoors and the summer breezes and that sort of thing. And you don't feel enclosed. You feel more part of nature, more part of the.
But the intent is to stay how late open at night?
Pardon me?
What's the intent of staying open at night? How late?
Do you know what that hour is?
2:30.
Can I speak?
I'm sorry.
From the podium?
Please, yeah, maybe we can step up. Write your name down there first. Sorry. I'm getting used to it.
My name's Ken Low-Miller. I am the new owner of Krause's Pizza, 30th Street,
What's your address, Ken?
4855 Echo Valley Street, Northwest.
Thank you.
To clarify the building, yes, it has a roof, and yes, it's going to have some walls, but yes, there's going to be garage doors to open up for fresh air, for smoking purposes. Yes, there, with approval, there will be heaters in there to be used 12 months out of the year. We close at 12 midnight. We stop, the kitchen shuts down at 11, and we lock up at 12. Yes, we still have a few employees in there, but they're out by 12:30. Basically, we're looking to get another, 20, 30 people of seating in there, and just to do some better business.
Will there be a bar in that area?
There will be a bar in that area, yes.
Is the intent during the summer months to have whatever doors or windows open to have the fresh air come in and out at night?
I'm going to say yes.
That would also include the noise going in and out at night?
Yes. There's quite a bit of noise around there with the highway right there with 62. But yes, sir.
Are you able to make this 6 feet smaller?
As far as width or length?
You're basically seeking the...
For the width, right?
Yeah.
I don't believe I can.
Why not?
Right now, currently, the pad is poured, and, the fence would come down from the structure of the building. That would only give us about another 6 foot off of the brick wall. That would only give us another 6 foot. 6 foot's not a whole lot to do much with. I could definitely put no tables out there or nothing.
Do I understand you correctly? You're going to sell alcohol in this area?
Well, we have a liquor license now.
You do?
Yes, sir.
Chairman, I'll make a motion.
Can I say
Is there any
something?
other questions? Unless there's any other questions.
Can I say something?
Mine.
Closed. Whereas applicant Robert Wilson, 151 Wilbur Drive, Northeast, North Canton, Ohio, owner Realty Associates of Canton, Martin Estelle, president, 5396 Columbus Road, request the following: to construct a 16-foot by 57-foot, 950 square foot commercial addition on the property located at Krause's Pizza, 909 30th Street Northeast, parcel 52-01851. A 6-foot east side yard setback variance, 25-foot required, 19-foot requested. Whereas the applicant has appeared in person before this board in an adjudication hearing on the application, and the Board of Zoning Appeals has duly considered this application pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 519.14. Now therefore be it hereby resolved by the Plain Township Board of Zoning Appeals to grant the following: a 6-foot east side yard setback variance, 25-foot required, 19-foot requested.
Is there a second?
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, shall we vote?
Pusleitis,
Yeah.
Reichel,
Yes.
McVeigh,
No.
Souls,
No.
Sutton.
No. The appeal has been turned on. Are there any announcements before the board?
We will be having a meeting in April, it'll be April 2nd. Move to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Roll call?
Pusleitis,
Yes.
Reichel,
Yes.
McVeigh,
Yes?
Souls,
Yes.
Sutton.
Yes. Meeting is adjourned at 7:05. Are you, gentlemen?